Peace, peace, peace. Shalom, shalom. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. And welcome to another day to labor in the vineyard of the Most High with your brother. Another day to get in the word, to see what the Most High got to serve. And today we gonna get a little bit of knowledge about the daughters of Zion and how the Most High is bringing the balance back. That's what we gonna go into in a few different lessons this week. The balance that's being restored with the opposite energy, the feminine energy. And certain aspects of it has been hidden due to the teachings of Christianity and the teachings of the camps. But we're going to bring it back out. We're going to get some of the information that's been hid from us and a better clarity of the balance between the two natures of the Creator. The masculine aspect and the feminine aspect. Alright? We got the Father and we got the eternal mothers. Alright? So let's eat. Let's start off. We're going to get the definition of Zion. The definition of Zion out the keys of Enoch. Zion, the nucleus of light. The remnant Adamic seed as an activated network of spiritual love and regeneration. The remnant of the Adamic seed as an activated network of spiritual love and regeneration. The saints who are quickened by the Holy Spirit and raised up at the end of time as priests, prophets, and prophetess of light. Alright? So Zion is the body of light, the spiritual lights. Not all of Israel, not all of the Israelites, but the spiritual lights. The spiritual remnant. The remnant of the bruised and the Gentiles that are grafted in. Alright? Let's go to the book of Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 1. Starting at verse 2. And we're going to see how the daughters of Zion got shut down for their actions and how the Most High promised to restore them along with the rest of the body of Zion at the end. Isaiah chapter 1 verse 2. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth. For the Lord hath spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me. They have rebelled against me. Verse 4. A sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backwards. Verse 7. Their country is desolate. Your cities are burned with fire. Your land, strangers devour it in your presence, and it is desolate as overthrown by strangers. And the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage in a vineyard, as a lodge in a garden of cucumbers, as a besieged city. The daughter of Zion is as a besieged city. The Most High then opened her up to robbers and looters and then gave her over. because of the iniquity. Go over to Isaiah chapter 3. Isaiah chapter 3, starting at verse 14. The Lord will enter into judgment with the ancients of his people, and the princes thereof. For ye have eaten up the vineyard. The spoil of the poor is in your houses. Verse 16. Moreover, the Lord said, because the daughters of Zion, the daughters of light, are haughty, they are vain, and walk with outstretched necks. They prideful, they vain, and they prideful. And with wanton eyes, they walking with seductive eyes, walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Therefore, the Lord will smite with the scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, the daughters of light. The Most High say he will smite the scab, will smite with the scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion. And the Lord will discover their secret parts. He will expose their nakedness. In that day, the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet, the jewelry that they wear around their ankles, their cars and their round tires like the moon, the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, the bonnets, the ornaments of the legs, and the headbands, and the tablets, and the earrings, the rings, and nose jewelry, the changeable suits of apparel, and the mantles, and the wimples, and the crisping pins, the glasses, and the fine linen, and the hoods, and the veils. And it should come to pass that instead of a sweet smell, there should be stink. Instead of the sweet smell of the daughters of Zion, the daughters of light, he said they gonna stink. And instead of a girdle, a rent. And instead of a well-set hair, instead of a good hairdo, baldness. The Most High said he didn't set baldness upon the daughters of Zion, the daughters of Jerusalem. That's why we got cursed. That's why the females, the black females, spend all this money on these weaves and sew-ins and glue-ins and all this fake hair. Because the Most High say he cursed them for their vanity and their, what do you say? Their pride, their vanity, walking with stretched forth necks, meaning they was proud, wanton eyes, they was seductive with their eyes. Using the same thing that they do now. Using your looks to your advantage to get things that you want. Seducing men. Oh, we gonna see. The Most High said instead of well-set hair, instead of a good hairdo, baldness, and instead of a stomacher, a garden of sackcloth and burning instead of beauty. I got another version that make this a little clearer. Hold on. Let's read this again. And the Most High says, because the daughters of Zion are haughty and walk with outstretched necks and seductive eyes, walking and mincing as they go, making a jingling with their feet. Therefore, the Most High shall smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Most High shall expose their nakedness. And that day, the Most High takes away the finery of the anklets and the headbands and the crescents and the pendants, the bracelets and the veils, the headdresses and the leg ornaments and the sashes and the perfume bottles and the amulets, the rings and the nose jewels, the costly robes and the cloaks and the shawls and the purses, the mirrors. The mirrors was given by the fallen angels, if you read the book of Enoch, and the fine linen, and the turbans, and the large veils. And it shall be, instead of a sweet fragrance, a smell of decay, and instead of a belt, a rope, and instead of a well-set hair, baldness, and instead of a festal robe, a garden of sackcloth, and branding, instead of beauty. Your men shall fall by the sword, and your strength in battle. And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she deserted shall sit on the ground. This is a version right here by the Scriptures Institute. It give a little more, it got different little translation. Sometimes it can be a little more understandable. Then they got the Hebrew names for the prophets and everything. Next, let's go to the Testament of Ruben and the Old Testament pseudeographer. Let's get another witness saying the same thing. Why the Most High got mad with his daughters alike? He got upset with them because of their actions. We already know how he did the men, but don't too many people say how he did the women. The Testament of Ruben, starting at chapter 5. Indeed, the angel of the Lord told me and instructed me that women are more easily overcome by the spirit of promiscuity than are men. They contrive in their hearts against men. Then, by decking themselves out, they lead men's minds astray. By a look, they implant their poison. And finally, in the act itself, they take them captive. For a woman is not able to coerce a man overtly, but by a harlot's manner she accomplished her villainy. Accordingly, my children, flee from sexual promiscuity, and order your wives and your daughters not to adorn their heads and their appearances, so as to deceive men's sound minds. For every woman who schemes in these ways is destined for eternal punishment. For it was thus that they charmed the watchers, the fallen angels, who were before the flood. As they continued looking at the women, they were filled with desire for them and perpetrated the acts in their minds. All right. So what they saying is the same way now how women be getting all dolled up with them super tight pants on and all that makeup and everything, looking all seductive. Like it's right here, it say like how the harlots do, how the harlots dress up so the men will be willing to pay them. And this system, that's what OnlyFans and all these different pages where women making all this money off of seducing men with their looks. The Most High don't like that. That's why he got mad the first time and put the curses on the females too, because they was seducing the men. All right, and they was using on them get the things that they wanted. They was using their looks to get things that they wanted, and that's the same thing that's going on now. All right, they seducing men and making money off of the lust of the men. All right, and that ain't what the Most High want for those that belong to him. He ain't gonna allow his men to be hoes. He not gonna allow his females, his daughters, to be seducing and using men by their looks. It's vanity. Vanity, vanity, vanity. The Most High is not gonna allow that for his daughters. Alright? So let's see the cause of that. Luke 23:28. But Yahushua, turning unto them, said, let's go to 27 first. And there followed him a great company of people and of women, which also bewailed and lamented him. But Yahushua, turning unto them, said, daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. The Most High punished is just. He punished all of us. He punished the men, he punished the women, and he told us why. He said the women, he was taking away all y'all fancy clothes, all y'all jewelry that you was using to be all sexy and seductive, all of the hairstyles that y'all was wearing, looking all nice and pretty. The Most High said, nah, he shut it all down. And he sent all us into captivity. So when you see how things we went through in the early to late 16, 17, 1800s, early 1900s, nah, the Most High said that was punishment. He ordered that. All right. And then what happened? When we get free and go right back into the same vain actions and do the same things that he warned us about in the past. That's why they say if you don't know the past, you bound to repeat it. Solomon say ain't nothing new under the sun. And now you got all these female rappers putting these same images and thoughts back in the heads of the females that they had way back when we got punished the first go round and the second go round. Alright? Because Judah got punished, then Israel over here, the 10 tribes got punished. Both of us. The Most High said none of the tribes was going to be exempt. Everybody was going to feel the wrath. Alright? Let's keep reading. Esdras, chapter 15, starting at verse 47. Second Esdras, chapter 15, starting at verse 47. Woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, unto Babylon, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom. Again, woe be unto thee, thou wretch, because thou hast made thyself like unto her, unto Babylon, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. They were sending the daughters off to mate out here with these other people. And the Most High said right here, because if you go up to verse 46, where he's speaking on Asia, thou art partakers of the hope of Babylon, and are the glory of her person. The glory of Babylon was the daughters of Jerusalem, the daughters of Zion, just like now. The Babylon system still thrives off of the so-called black women. All right? Them female rappers got more pull than any other musician artist outside of Beyonce. But they use her too. So they use the R&B ones and they use the rappers. All right? And they have a stronghold on all the other nations, because all the other nations follow the daughters of Jerusalem when they cast them in that spotlight. Woe be unto thee, thou wretched, because thou hast made thyself like unto Babylon, and hast decked thy daughters in whoredom, the things that you dress your daughters in, that they might please and glory in thy lovers, which have always desired to commit whoredom with thee. Thou hast followed her, followed Babylon. That is, thou hast followed her that is hated in all her works and inventions. Therefore said God. And he's speaking on Babylon. We was following the way of the Babylon system. So what the Most High said? I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. And the glory of thy power shall be dried up as flour, when the heat shall arise that is sent over thee. Go over to chapter 16. Alright, so the Most High said widowhood is going to be part of the punishment also. You ain't going to have no husbands. Chapter 16, verse 33. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. Women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. Broken homes. The Most High set this up. So when we talk all this stuff about the Gentiles is the reason that the black family is broke up and all this, nah, the Most High instituted this. The virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. Women shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. Hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. Single family households. That's a punishment from the Lord your God. All because of our actions. The actions of the men, but the women also played their role. Go to the sealed portion, chapter 93. Sealed portion, chapter 93. Starting at verse 2. Behold, in the latter days, there shall be great pride and vanity throughout the earth, because of the image that the beast or Babylon shall present unto you and cause you to worship. Alright? And you see, we just read in the Apocrypha in 2nd Esdras, and that was before the time of the coming of Christ. Alright? The Apocrypha is in between the Old and the New Testament. So that was before Christ came on the scene, that the Most High was telling us about doing them same things right there. Alright? And when we read in Isaiah about the pride and vanity of the daughters of Zion. This was thousands of years ago. And here we go again. In the end of times, we still in the same trap. Behold, in the latter days, there should be great pride and vanity throughout the earth, because of the image that the beast shall present unto you and cause you to worship. And now you see the ills of social media. Social media is a big trap of the beast that keep us stuck in vanity, especially the females. Yea, the image of the beast should cause that there should be a standard set for the appearance of a man and a woman. The Gentiles then set up a standard, and they then used us to push another standard amongst ourselves on how we supposed to look. The shape that the females is supposed to be. You got them wanting bigger boobs, bigger butts, bigger lips, longer hair, everything else. You want to change up your whole looks, your whole body according to the image of the beast. All to look more seductive to the eyes of men. What we just read the punishment was for in Isaiah, along with in Ezra's. So it's the same thing. Satan, Lucifer run the same game over and over because we hadn't learned from it. So he do the same thing in just a different time period. And being that we just reincarnated spirits coming back in the same position, the Most High say he requires that which is past. If you didn't overcome your vanity in your previous life, vanity is trapped in your spirit in this life. You have another chance to overcome your vanity, your love of self, your using your ways, your size, your looks to get what you want. Repent. This was all a punishment from the Most High. And the females don't look at it that way because the society them set up to cater to them. So it's harder for the daughters of Zion to come out of the matrix than it is for the men. Society then kicked the black men to the curb for the most part for the longest. But the women, they feed off of the black females. Just like in slave times. They gave them preferential treatment to the men. So it's easier for the Most High to reach out and get his men, but because of the way the system's set up, and because of, especially nowadays with cell phones and Facebook and Instagram and all the females taking pictures of themselves every day, every other day, posting pictures for likes, attention, especially ones that don't have a man and need some attention or just like attention. They pimping themselves out, always posting pictures of themselves. Then you got the ones of y'all that always like to turn around and take the back shot poses. What does that do? It create lust in the minds of the men, which we just read in the Testament of Ruben. We might not have had cell phones thousands of years ago, but the actions was the same. And the people of the earth shall begin to worship the image and do all in their power to follow this image and reach this standard of beauty that have been set for them. The Barbies trying to look like Nicki Minaj, want that shape, that fake shape. The Most High said, nah, not his daughters. No, you get the shape that he gave you and you don't use it to try to promote it to get anywhere in life. No. And there should be many who again deny the power of their creator and also their faith in the creator. and that which they have been given according to the natural order of all things. Speaking on the ones that want to change up their looks, and they don't think that the Most High made them right the way that they is. However the Most High made you, there is a man that's gonna think you look good. But because of the image of the beast, you want to transform and change parts of your body because you think that's sexy and that look good, because that's what the system promote and tell you. And when you get on social media, Instagram, and you see it all in your face every day, it starts to weigh on your mind. And because the ease of, oh, I'm gonna just get a Brazilian butt lift, or I'm gonna go get a tummy tuck, or I'm gonna just go get my breast amped up just a little bit. The temptation is there, especially if you got the funds to pay for it. We about to read that too. For the standard of beauty that shall be set by the image of the beast shall be that which all desire. And if by the course of nature this beauty is not had by many of those of the latter days, then they should go to the doctors and the physicians, who shall receive a knowledge and an expertise from Satan to change the form of their faces and their bodies and their natures to conform to the standard that the beasts have set for them. And I say unto you, that ye that doeth these things denies the power of the Father, and shall be condemned for that which you have done to yourselves. And these changes which ye shall make for yourselves should cause you more misery than the temporary joy that they should give unto you, when you look into a mirror and behold the image of that which ye have been convinced is the standard of beauty that should be maintained. As you get older, that stuff ain't gonna look good the way you didn't change your body. Because as your body naturally ages, the unnatural parts is not gonna age the same as the natural parts. So that's gonna cause a whole nother problem. But people don't think that far along the lines. They just think of the right now. And many of these shall not reach the standard of beauty that have been set for them by the beast. And they should not have the means or the funds, the money, whereby they might make the change to their appearance to conform to this standard. Yet, do ye think that the Father loved them less than those who have been given this standard of beauty by nature? I say unto you that he did not love them less, but shall bless them exceedingly if they will but have faith in him and his will. Behold, it shall come to pass in the day of the Lord, the day of the return of Christ is what it's speaking on, that all of those who have changed their bodies to conform to the standard set for them by the image of the beast, yea, these shall be the ugliest among all the children of men upon the earth. Yahweh shall say, if you change your body, you change it if you want to. When he come back, you gonna be ugly. You gonna be ugly. In the twinkling of an eye, you gonna be ugly. Because you disrespected the Father, because you changed your body. You changed what he gave you. Alright? You didn't just disrespected the flesh. You disrespected your temple. Your outer temple, you took upon yourself to go ahead and switch that up and change it. Because you ain't like what the Most High gave you. So, when Christ come back, you in trouble. You got to answer for that. Go back to Isaiah chapter 51. Isaiah chapter 51, verse 1. Listen to me, ye that follow after righteousness, ye that seek the Lord, ye that seek your Creator. Look unto the rock whence ye are hewn, into the hole of the pit when ye are digged. Verse 7. Listen unto me, ye that know righteousness, the people in whose heart is my law. Remember, he said he gonna write his heart in our minds and in our hearts. So right now he's speaking to the ones who have it wrote in him. Listen unto me, ye that know righteousness, the people in whose heart is my law. Fear ye not the reproach of men, neither be ye afraid of their revilings. Verse 9. Awake, awake, awaken to the truth of reality, the true knowledge of self. Spiritually awaken, awake, awake out your deep sleep of the matrix. Awake, awake, put on strength. Strength is spiritual things, spirituality. O arm of the Lord, awake as in the ancient days, in the generations of old. Art thou not it that have cut Rahab and wounded the dragon? Verse 11. Therefore the redeemed of the Lord shall return. Therefore the redeemed of the Lord shall return, and come with singing unto Zion. And everlasting joy shall be upon their head. They shall obtain gladness and joy, and sorrow and mourning shall flee. The redeemed, those who know righteousness, the people in whose heart is his law. Those who follow after righteousness, that seek the Most High. Verse 16. And I have put my words in thy mouth, and I have covered thee in the shadow of my hand, that I may plant the heavens and lay the foundations of the earth, and say unto Zion, thou art my people. Alright, there's a difference between Zion and Israel. Alright. Zion is the spiritual lights. All of Israel is not spiritual minded. Some of them are, some of them aren't. Some of the Israelites are carnal minded. But the spiritual minded Israelites continue to grow. And as they continue to grow and purify themselves, they become a part of the holy city, the true holy city, Zion. Jerusalem is the holy city of Israel. Zion is the holy people, the holy city of the Most High. Awake, awake, stand up, O Jerusalem, which has drunk at the hand of the Lord the cup of his fury. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets. That's speaking to us. That's speaking to his original people. We the ones that have drunk at the hand of the Lord the cup of his fury. That's why all through the second stick, it talk about us being scattered and smitten by the Gentiles. All right. Awake, awake, stand up, O Jerusalem, which has drunk at the hand of the Lord the cup of his fury. Thou hast drunken the dregs of the cup of trembling and wrung them out. Verse 22. Thus says thy Lord, the Lord and thy God, that pleadeth the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thy hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink it again. But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee, which have said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground, and as the street to them that went over. All of the nations that then afflicted their wrath upon Jerusalem, upon us, the ancient covenant people. The Most High said right here, all of the ones that then afflicted the daughters of Jerusalem and the daughters of Zion, and then used and manipulated them and to put them against the men and all the other foul things that they've been doing. Behold, I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee, which I said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground, and as the street to them that went over. Alright, they went above and beyond. The Most High used them to punish us, but they went above and beyond, and they refused to stop. Just like Pharaoh, let my people go. The same thing he said back then, let my people go. And what Pharaoh do? Harden his heart and say no. So he gotta break them people the same way that he broke Pharaoh. All we've been seeing right here is our history repeat itself. But those who don't know the word don't know that we in the end of time now. Alright? So all things is gonna come to pass right now, like he said. His ancient covenant people, Jerusalem and Zion, is being restored. Alright? The black man and woman is being lifted up off the ground, and the spiritual lights is getting their light back and elevating. Alright? Go to chapter 52. Starting at verse 1. Awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion. The strength of Zion is the light. Zion is the nucleus of light. Their strength, our strength as spiritual lights is in the spiritual realm. Awake, put on thy strength, O Zion. Our strength is the Most High, the Lord your God, the Lord of the light, who empowers the light of Zion. Put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city. For henceforth there should no more come unto thee the uncircumcised and unclean. Shake thyself from the dust. The dust is the flesh. Shake thyself from the dust. The Most High say he created the body from the dust of the earth. The dust is the flesh. Shake thyself from the carnal man. Arise and sit down, O Jerusalem. Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion. Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion. For thus says the Lord, ye have sold yourselves for nothing, for naught, but ye shall be redeemed without money. You're going to be redeemed without money. Through the Spirit, we're going to be redeemed. Go to Zephaniah. Zephaniah chapter 3. Zephaniah chapter 3. Starting at verse 14. Sing, O daughter of Zion. Shout, O Israel. Be glad and rejoice with all the heart, O daughter of Jerusalem. The Lord have taken away thy judgments. He hath cast out thy enemy. The King of Israel, even the Lord, is in the midst of thee. Thou shalt not see evil anymore. And this speaking on the end of time, which is quickly approaching. Thou shalt not see evil anymore. We are not going to be afflicted by the Gentiles anymore. The time of the Gentiles is over. The time of us bowing down and allowing them to run over us has come to an end. The Lord have taken away thy judgments. He has cast out thy enemy. Now that we didn't get back the rest of the books for us to be able to spiritually power up, spiritually, we out of bondage. We out of spiritual captivity now. The lights can eat the light and power back up. Jerusalem is out of bondage. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets. The Most High is redeeming us right now. All right. The carnal Israelites and the spiritualites together. The daughters of Zion and the daughters of Jerusalem. All are being redeemed right now. Because our judgments has been taken away. The cup of fury has been taken from us and placed in the hand of the nations that have been afflicting us, that still are attempting to afflict us. It's their turn to eat the cup of wrath right now. Alright? Now, let's get the answer to a mystery right quick. They got to do with the daughters of Zion, the daughters of light. The daughters of Zion got a different mindset than the daughters of Jerusalem, even though they the same people. The same way Jacob had a different mindset from Esau. Isaiah chapter 4. Sometimes the Spirit say you got to deliver the hard truth. And even though this might be hard for some people to eat, you're going to have some people that disagree with it because of the teachings that's in the Book of Mormon. But at the end of the day, we're going to see the truth of it. All right? And you know we're going to precept. But I just want to end on this right here to stimulate somebody's mind to show them that there's a certain order spiritually that we couldn't abide by because of our carnal mindset. That's why the daughters of Zion and the men of Zion, the spiritualites, the Most High, you are the ones that purified yourselves to where you completely threw off your carnal mind. So the lust of the flesh is not afflicting you like the carnal Israelites. And once you can use that spiritual mindset and operate out the spirit of truth, like Yahweh Shai, your perspective on life changed to where you can hear something that a carnal minded brother heard, and y'all seeing it on two different perspectives because your lust not in your way. All right. So let's eat right here to close out to see the answer to something that is for our protection, really. And it's to bring the tribe back together the way it was on earth as it is in heaven. Isaiah chapter 4. And in that day, speaking on the end times, because the heading says Zion and her daughters shall be redeemed and cleansed in the millennial day. So it's speaking on the end time. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name, to take away our reproach. And I know a lot of the brothers think polygamy, more than one wife, It's just against what the Lord thy God said. But that was for a reason that he put that in there. Because if it was always an abomination, he wouldn't have gave Moses a law on how that they supposed to operate when using it. And then we about to see in the sealed portion, it speak on it. But I'll do another lesson on how polygamy, the spiritual means of how it operates. But when your carnal mind get in the way and the only thing you can see is sex, you already then failed at your attempt on how the Most High set that up. Because if you realize, David didn't go wrong until he had Uriah killed for it. The Most High had told David, if you wanted more wives, all you had to do was ask me. You didn't have to go kill Uriah to take Bathsheba. So he wasn't wrong for having multiple wives. It was when his carnal mind, the lust of the flesh, got in the way. Solomon went wrong when the daughters took him astray. And when I do the lesson on polygamy, we're going to show that. And then we're going to bring out other books. Because there's other books that speak on it. I got other books where anything the Most High laid down, I took the time to study to see why. And what I found is everything with the Most High, just like with Yahushua. With Christ, everything was spiritual. But a carnal mind can't process the spiritual aspect of things because our lust blind us. So when we heard the word polygamy, all we think about is sex, which that ain't the reason for it. It don't have nothing to do with that. That's when they go wrong, and that's when you mess up. But there's a spiritual purpose behind it. All right, and then in this part right here, people don't realize when this system crashed, when Babylon crashed, you ain't gonna have no cell phone. Everybody gonna be on their own. You gonna be just like it was in the wilderness, living in a tribe. Either you gonna buy with a tribe, or you gonna be by yourself. You ain't gonna be able to call nobody. And I mean, hey, depending on how things get, you might not be going too far. But the Most High set this up for our protection right here. Let's read. And in that day, in the end, 7 women should take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. In that day should the branch of the Lord be beautiful. In that day should the branch of the Lord be beautiful and glorious. And the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel. For them that are escaped of Israel. And it should come to pass that he that is left in Zion and he that remains in Jerusalem shall be called holy, even every one that is written among the living in Jerusalem. When the Lord shall have washed away the filth, when the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, he gonna clean and purify everybody's mindset, especially in Zion. The daughters of Zion is not gonna have that mindset that the daughters got now that's in this Babylon system. When you operating off the fruit of the Spirit, love is above everything else. Like Christ said, the greatest 2 commandments. Love the Lord your God love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. When the Lord shall have washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion, and shall have purged the blood of Jerusalem from the midst thereof by the spirit of judgment and the spirit of burning. And the Lord will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion and upon her assemblies a cloud and smoke by day, and the shining of a flaming fire by night. For upon all the glory shall be a defense, And there should be a tabernacle for a shadow in the daytime from the heat, and for a place of refuge, and for a covert from storm and from rain. All right, let's get a precept for what we read in verse 1, for where it said, in that day, 7 women should take hold of 1 man. Because a lot of people think that the Most High didn't institute this because our carnal mindsets had us operating off of our lusts. Go to the sealed portion, chapter 5. I'm going to shoot that down right quick. And another day, we'll do a lesson on polygamy. But we're going to see other aspects of the teachings that's been hid from us and why. You got to make it make sense. So it can't be, when all of the brothers that got counters, they don't look at the reason why the Most High instituted it. And what's the plus side, the benefits of it. All they look at is sex. So when you heard brothers shooting it down, they always talk about, nah, you can't be having multiple wives operating off the lust of your flesh. Well, what about the brothers that ain't operating off the lust of their flesh? They looking at it from the institute, the way the Most High got it set up for nation building. Is it? Once you overcome your flesh, sex is not the main thing on your mind. It's not, draws is not the main thing on your mind. You care more about the word than you care about draws. You care more about building up these females' mindsets than you do about getting in their draws. Draws weigh you down. Spiritually, if the person who you with, spirit ain't where yours at. There's a spirit that would jump on you, and you would have to pray to get that spirit up off you when you become more spiritually sensitive. All right, let's get this precept right here right quick. Sealed portion, chapter 5, verse 17. And it came to pass that as the Father presented this plan of salvation to his spirit children, one of them stood up and questioned the Father and wondered why it should be that all spirits should not have the full blessing of the celestial glory like unto the Father. And this spirit was a great one among those that the Father had created, and his name was Lucifer, he being a spirit who was the firstborn of his eternal mother, and a leader among the spirits. Now, go over to verse 28. And it came to pass that another of the spirits stood up among them. And this spirit was also the firstborn of the Father, but not from the same mother as Lucifer. You catch it? Lucifer in Christ, Lucifer in Yahushua, Lucifer in Jesus had the same father, but 2 different eternal mothers. So anybody that say polygamy is against the order of the Most High and the order of the kingdom, they blind in their understanding. Let's read this again. Lucifer, he being a spirit who was the firstborn of his eternal mother and a leader among the spirits. That's verse 18. Verse 28. And it came to pass that another of the spirits stood up among them. And this spirit was also the firstborn of the Father, but not from the same mother as Lucifer. The Most High, there's eternal mothers, and then there's the Father. The whole spiritual kingdom operate are principles that our carnal mind cannot process. That's why the Most High said the carnal mind is enmity against the Lord your God. And now that we getting into teachings on the kingdom of light and realizing that we luminaries, now these teachings can be applied to where they start to make more sense. Because I done did a lesson before showing where in the Book of Mormon it say that the Most High was against multiple wives. But I knew otherwise on why polygymy was beneficial. But the Spirit didn't want me to unveil it at that time. So the Most High told me hold on to it. Some lessons the Spirit would tell me hold on to. Because you got to lay the groundwork to open the Spirit up more to where they be willing to hear it, where it might make sense. Alright, so certain lessons I sit on. Just like with the whole thing with Islam and Muhammad and all that. The Spirit had me sit on the lesson for about a month. So now that we getting into learning about the kingdom of light and how we luminaries, if you look at the planets, the sun is the masculine light, the moon is the feminine light, and all the planets is feminine. The gods and earths teach about the gods is the men, the earths, the planets is female in nature. Just like in the scriptures, they call the woman a earth. If you look at some of the other planets got multiple moons, but one sun. If you look at the lions, Mufasa is the king of the tribe. After that is nothing but female lions and children. The order is in the order of nature, but with us, our carnal mind miss it. I give you one more precept. Go to Seal Portion chapter 17. Adam knew about this order. Seal Portion chapter 17, verse 56. Behold, a righteous man can bring forth many children, but these children cannot be righteous except they are taught by their mothers who are righteous. And if it were in the best interest of the purpose of creation, then God would rid himself of most men. God would rid himself of most men, but keep unto himself the women. These the words of Adam. For within one man is the power to create many children. For within one man is the power to create many children. But within a woman is the power by which she might only create one child at a time. And this righteous man might be the means by which many women may bring forth children. And this thing was known from the beginning. This thing was known from the beginning, even according to the words of Adam. And at certain times, the Lord commanded chosen men to allow their wives to give unto them other wives for the purpose of creation. Nevertheless, these were righteous men who were chosen specifically by the Lord to do this thing. They were righteous men who were chosen specifically by the Lord to do this thing. But unto the rest of the children of men, he have commanded that they have but one wife only, and this because of their unrighteousness. Alright. So that's just a little something new to eat on. See the order of the kingdom in the spiritual realm. And it ain't for everybody. The Most High said it's all about your happiness. As when we get into the lesson on polygymy, we'll see them ones operating after the order of the eternal mothers. Alright? The eternal mothers, their whole focus is different. Their focus is on raising children. Alright? The spiritual realm is different. It's on earth as it is in heaven, but we have to get out of our carnal mind and our feelings and our emotions and thinking about sex and jealousy and all of those are works of the flesh. If you read Romans 8 and 5, them works of the flesh. Love, joy, happiness, them the works of the spirit. The eternal mothers operate off them principles. They happy raising kids. That's what they want to do. The spirit children, like on the movie Soul, they just happy as they can be with the spirit children. Whereas the Most High, the Father, he off building, creating. He come back, check in, do what he do, and then he back off creating, building. All right? It's gender roles when you get to the celestial kingdom, but it's based off of your happiness. If that's happiness to you, then that's cool. But if not, that's cool too. All right? But you can't knock the sisters who are okay with it, because you lack the understanding on why they following the divine pattern. And in the sealed portion, it say they'll be blessed for it. The ones who follow that pattern, they'll be blessed for it, because they operating after the order of the celestial kingdom. All right? But the men who think they gonna do it and operate off the lust of their flesh, nah, you gonna be punished. You gonna be punished. That's what the sealed portion say. So we'll get into more of that another day, but we're gonna go into other aspects of the divine feminine aspects of creation. The feminine energy, the part of the feminine Godhead that's been hid from us, that's in other religions or whatnot, that got took out of ours. We're gonna see how that the Hebrews back then knew that there was a mother aspect of the Father, but it's been hid from us. A lot of stuff that's been hid from us due to the Christian church. And we gotta keep growing. We gotta keep growing, eating the word, and elevating. All right? Peace.